Hey BookTube, so today I'm coming to you with a book recommendations video. So recently I organized my bookshelves by color, and so today I'm going to be recommending books by the color of the rainbow. Before we get into it, remember to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe, and turn post notifications on for more bookish videos. It helps the channel out a lot and I would really appreciate it. But now let's get right into the recommendations. Okay, I'm going to start with red. And for red, okay, so this is my shelf for red. By the way, this is not a book. I don't know if anyone thought it was a book, but it's like a tin that I got in an Owl Crate box. It's a Darker Shade of Magic themed, and I love it. But anyway, for red, I think I'll recommend most of these books. The ones that I've read are great. I could recommend any of these, honestly. Concrete Rose is a heart-rending and beautifully written book about a black guy growing up in, I think, the 90s? Is this the 90s? Who suddenly has to take care of a baby named Seven, and his entire life turns upside down as he has to deal with this new baby. It depends on him. Well, he also has to deal with 2 jobs and his dad being in prison. Angie Thomas just never fails to deliver. She always writes such important books. The characters are so incredibly detailed. They feel so real. She just has this way of making characters so unique, and just they come right off of the page and you become so enveloped in their lives, and it feels as if these are real things that are happening to real people. And the plot for a contemporary is always just so unraveling. You always need to know what happens next in an Angie Thomas book. You always have some question that you need answered when you turn a page. The metaphors in this book, the story, the characters, the family, it was all just so incredibly detailed, so incredibly important, so beautiful. I highly recommend this book. Also, if you want a quick read, Angie Thomas books are really quick reads, so don't get intimidated by their length, because they are very fast paced. And a lot of the pages are taken up by dialogue. Okay, so next we have Orange. I'm gonna go with What If It's Us? I just reached up somewhere you cannot see. I'm gonna go with What If It's Us by Becca Bertelli and Adam Silvera. This is a gay rom-com set in New York. It's about Ben and Arthur who meet each other at the post office. And yeah, it's just a contemporary that goes from there as they both try to navigate their way through life, and also this new romance that they're trying to create between themselves. What if they can't quite nail a first date, or a second first date, or a third? Or if Arthur tries too hard to make it work and Ben doesn't try hard enough? What if life really isn't like a Broadway show? But what if it is? I actually read this for my next chapter book club that is currently on hiatus, but I think that we will resume it, but right now it's on hiatus. But we did read it for that book club and it was a thrill. It's definitely not the best book ever, but if you're looking for like a cute contemporary that you will just have fun and that there's no real danger and like nothing horrible happens to any of the characters, it's just a fun ride and it's really predictable. You know what's gonna happen. I would recommend this book. It has great writing. I mean, it's by Becca Bertelli and Adam Silvera, 2 of the best writers in YA right now. Okay, so next we have Yellow, and as you can see, I have a good amount of options for Yellow. Actually, I have not read this book. Hated this book. Have not read it, but like it's a writing book. Why would I recommend that to you guys? And I have read this one. Do I not have any other Yellow book? I have Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, but I'm not recommending Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. Frankly Love is like it's yellowish, right? I'm gonna count it as yellow. I've talked about Frankly in Love on this channel before. It's about Frank Lee, whose parents expect him to date and eventually marry a Korean girl, but who eventually falls in love with a white girl named Britt Means, and so he sets up this elaborate fake dating scheme, which is working pretty fine in the beginning, until life throws him a curveball and he doesn't, and he starts to think about if he really knows what love is at all. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people did not like this book because it was marketed as like this fake dating scheme rom-com kind of book, and it in many ways is not that at all. Yes, love is a huge aspect of it, but it kind of goes to the wayside, and culture and meaning in life and all of these important topics come to the forefront. It talks a lot about the importance of family. It tackles grief. It tackles so many of these hard-hitting subjects, and we see Frank grow so much through this book. It has such a unique writing style that perfectly captures Frank's character and the sort of vibe and message that the story is going for. You get invested in these characters, even though the writing style is kind of detached. But yeah, I love this book so much. I highly recommend it. Okay, so now we have green, and I have a good amount of options. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Down in the Cross, it's kind of a funny story, The Thing About Jellyfish, Land Stories 10. Those are some pretty good options. I will talk about Arvin Ahmadi in an upcoming wrap-up because I'm reading his book, his new book right now, and I am loving it. But I have not finished it yet. I really want to like it. I've already talked about his kind of funny story so much on this channel. I mean, I've done that Frankly Love, but like, I've talked about it so much. It's an important book about mental health that has such poignant characters, and you just, it's fun, but it also teaches you a lot about mental health and accepting yourself. So I'll talk about The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. One of the most hyped releases of 2020. When it came out, it was like, you either loved it or you did not like it. And I was on the side that loved this book. I think it gave a great, interesting backstory for President Snow that also didn't try to humanize him, that didn't try to give a good reason or something for why he did what he was. It didn't try to make him out to be this good person who did bad stuff. Like, no. He's a bad person in this book. He does some morally wrong things. And I love that Suzanne Collins didn't try to humanize him in that way. We just followed his story. Seamus, what a great character. He was a genuine thrill to read about. And I really liked the world building for this book. I loved how we gained a lot more information and learned a lot more about the Hunger Games and what happened in the very beginning of the games. And I just think it explored a lot of interesting concepts and ideas and kind of politics are surrounding authoritarian governments, freedom. I just think this book did what I wanted it to, and so I loved it, but I know lots of people did not think it was meaningful or it just wasn't good. I loved it though. It's not loved it, like at least satisfied my expectations of what I wanted it to be. Okay, next we have blue, and that we have some hard hitters. We have The Fault in Our Stars. Actually, I've not read a lot of these blue books. This is, I don't know why I put it here. I think it just meshed. I don't know why Lord of the Flies is here. This is not blue at all. I messed up on something. But Billy Davis is one. I think I'm gonna go with The Fault in Our Stars. This is my favorite out of these. Yeah, I really want to read More Happy Than Not though. But The Fault in Our Stars is my favorite out of these. I remember loving it when I first read it because it was like one of the first young adult books I read. I didn't know just how much the genre could do. And so now I look on it and I'm like, yeah, it had flaws. It was too pretentious. It fit into a lot of tropes. But at the end of the day, it's still a fun and important story. It's so meaningful, that talks a lot about life and grief and why we live, that has great developed characters and also some of the most heart-wrenching and beautiful scenes that I've read in literature. I love this book, and I know it's not a masterpiece, but I still think this book is very, very good and deserves the hype that it gets. It's beautifully written. John Green is a master at his craft, and the way he makes the characters and the way he tells their story is just so beautiful. He added this with so many quotes that I had to note down. And the movie adaptation is also really good. Violet. And we have Geekerella. We have You Should See Me in a Crown. We have Because You Love to Hate Me. We have Cinderella's Dead, which I haven't read. We have Cupid Lost Cities, which I have read. I'm going to give it a second chance. I will. But as of now, I don't love. So I'm just going to recommend Geekerella. I remember when I read this in a vlog where I read one book in one sitting. Go check that vlog out. I still don't know how I did that. I remember when I read this, I thought it was a masterpiece. I thought it was one of my favorite books of all time. And that's because it's a great retelling. It does a great job of adapting the story to fit what it's trying to do. And I love that about it. Like, the characters are great. Like, the plot kept me reading. I mean, if I read a book in one sitting, if I managed to do it, the book had to keep me entertained. And this book did. It had great characters that I cared about. And the story was just really, really interesting to me. And I was genuinely anticipating what happened at the end after all of the drama that ensued in this book. Oh my god, the drama in this book. It perfectly encapsulated social media age and how celebrities live. I just loved that aspect of it. I would love this book to be adapted. I feel like it would be a great movie. But yeah, for Violet, I'll offer as my recommendation Geekerella by Ashley Poston. But yeah, guys, that is my rainbow book recommendations. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like, comment down below, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I will see you next time with another video. Bye!